All right, here we are. It's JoAnne here with Mary Herrington, and she's amazing. She wears a lot of hats. She's going to be my new best friend. She doesn't know it yet.
I'm always
But
looking for a new BFF.
she is a master certified herbalist and aromatherapist. She's an Ayurvedic coach. She's a certified life coach and health coach. She's a parenting coach. Hello, we need help. And she's an unschooling coach, which is, after my own heart. I'm a unschooling parent also. And today, we are going to have her wear the hat of health coach, Ayurvedic coach. And she's going to talk to us. Thank you. Yes, the perfect hat.
I'll tell you where it came from.
Oh boy. Oh, perfect.
My scale.
Yes, balance.
There we go.
We're going to talk about the one of our practices in the 11-11 detox is fasting. And I've talked to people before about fasting, and people can be really excited about it, or they can be like, oh, hell no, I'm not going to not eat. But you don't realize that you spend a lot of time not eating, and it's okay, you're surviving. So Mary's going to talk about the different body types as far as the Ayurvedic tradition goes, and how fasting supports those different body types. And Mary, share with us, what are the 3 body types?
Oh, okay. So I'm going to give you the technical names, and then I'm going to give you like the normal names.
Okay.
What I call like what you're going to remember names. So there's a Vata, a Pitta, and a Kapha.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to go Vata, Kapha, and does that come with ice in this heat?
Right.
All right. Like, I want an iced Kapha, please, because that sounds really good.
Right. Exactly.
So we're just going to throw those to the side. All right. So the first one in Ayurvedic is called Vata.
Vata.
And that one, think of like a ballet dancer.
Okay.
Okay. They're tall, they're thin, they're kind of airy. Do you have a friend that's kind of like up in the clouds, a little lightheaded, a little flaky, maybe? They're that person that has a hard time maybe gaining weight, or they're the one that just flits from one thing to another. So that's a Vata. Okay. They're way up here. Their head's way up here. Okay. They're like into metaphysical stuff, and they're like, yeah, this is awesome. Then you have your Pittas, which are a medium build person. They don't really gain weight. They don't really lose weight. They're pretty steady. You often see them at the gym. They often have red hair. They often have a great digestion. They're the ones that have lots of drive, lots of determination. You see them and you're like, yeah, they're going to go places. They're not really tall. They're not really short. They're like right in the middle. Okay. And then you have your Kaphas, which are those that we look at like Kim Kardashian, right? She's really curvy. They have those big doe eyes, those big luscious lips you want to kiss. They're kind of soft. They gain weight just thinking about a donut. Okay, there you go. Well, you can also be a combination of these 3. Yeah. You can be a combination of all 3. You can be a combination of 2. Okay, so I am a Vata Pitta. I've got the red hair. I'm not really tall. I'm only 5'1". I've got great drive and determination, but I also have problems with digestion. I also am, way up here, metaphysical craziness. I can flip from thing to thing with no problem. I really enjoy being in my head. I have to remember to get grounded more often. Yeah. Where my husband is a Kapha. He is soft and luscious, and hugging him is like coming home. I dated a lot of Pittas, which were like really strong, and you want to run your fingers across their chest because it's all muscular and great looking. Yeah, I married a Kapha because he was great to hug. And they're really sensuous, and they're soft, and you just want to be with them. So fasting for that body type is fantastic. Okay. They should actually fast once a month for 24 hours. That's actually best for their body type. It revs up their metabolism and gets it to work better. They should also, honestly, fast for 12 to 16 hours every day. Like, skip breakfast, actually. If you are that luscious body type, skip breakfast. It's actually better for your body to have a larger lunch and a smaller dinner because it's going to get you going. And they need to make sure that they exercise more often. because that's what keeps them going. Think of Kapha's like a plant, right? With those long roots, it's in the ground. So they also, especially while doing a detox, want to eat more salads. They want to eat things that grow above the ground. So think of Kapha's heavy, like dirt. And you want to bring it up. How do you balance something that's heavy? You bring it something light, right? It's like a scale. So
now, can I ask a question here?
Yeah,
As you're talking, I'm, trying to put myself in a category, right? And I'm sure that everyone is, having the same reaction that I am, like trying to figure out where we're at.
Where you are. Right.
And is there a way to, like a lot of places have like, quizzes that you can take, or do you have like something like that? Or
I don't have one on my website yet. But you can definitely just put in a dosha quiz.
Oh, okay.
And they'll come right up.
Oh, okay.
It's super easy. They're usually like anywhere from 15 to 20 questions.
Okay, that's a good.
They'll come right up.
Because I'm thinking like what you were saying, like I'm kind of a mix, but also I'm curious as to where I lean most. So that quiz probably would help us figure that out. Okay, all right.
I can look one up, and I just can't remember the name of the website that I use off the top of my head. I can throw it in the after this is posted. I can throw it in the comments.
Oh, sweet. Yes, great. Thank you so much. All right. You're welcome. Yes. Moving
on. Kapha's fast, man. Go for it.
Okay.
Do it every day. Eat more salads. Eat things that are light, that are airy. And a lot of times, people that do detoxes are often your Kaphas, because they're like, oh, I can't lose weight. Let me just try this. Like they're so defeated because they've tried everything. So they're often those, your luscious people.
Yeah.
Okay. Then you have your Pittas, who are like, if we're gonna do it, man, we're gonna do it right. And I'm gonna swish twice a day, maybe 4 times a day, and I'm gonna really get it in there. And they're super excited. And hold on, my daughter's not letting my dog out. So you're gonna take a trip with me through my house.
Oh,
so, I know. So your Pittas are like, yeah, swishing, I'm spraying, I'm doing all of it, right? And they actually shouldn't fast every day.
Okay.
They should only fast every other week.
Oh, okay.
That's it. Because their digestion is so good that they actually don't have to clean out their system.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So they have that fiery digestion where they're the ones that can eat anything. Like they can go to the Indian restaurant and eat it and be like, yeah, that was fantastic. Give me some more.
And they don't have that rumbly belly afterwards. They're like, we got this.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I was like that as a kid, not as an adult. Okay. So as a kid, I could eat anything. I had like a rock solid stomach. Oh, there are my little towers there. All right, let's see. There we go. So as a Pitta, only every other week. And you only would want to fast for 12 to 16 hours.
Okay.
That's it. And then they would want to have a nice balanced meal every single day. Obviously, you want to give yourself time to digest meat, no matter who you are. So you need about 6 hours before you go to bed to digest meat. And the American culture says, well, let's have a big fat burger on a bun with French fries and a side of greens, because that looks good, it's green. Right. And then let's have a hot fudge sundae. And so by the time you go to bed, you have all this sugar, you have all this meat, and what it does is it sits in your intestines and sits in your stomach. And then that actually turns into toxins in your body. Yeah. So which is why you're like, oh my God, we need to detox.
Yeah.
Right. But in the summertime, you actually should not do a full detox. And I'll get into that in a second. Right now, what you guys are doing is more like a clean food detox, which is great.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you don't want to do a full detox in the summer. So your mid-body types, which are built, I would say more like I am. I'm pretty steady. I'm pretty sturdy. And 12 to 16 hours every other week. Then you've got your Vatas, which are tall and thin and lithe, and they're your ballet dancers. But Vatas are funny. They can either be super tall or super short. Vata is the sign of inequity.
Okay.
And they should never fast, because their metabolism is so fast that if they fast, they will actually cause their body harm.
So when you're saying never fast, are you, obviously we're all not eating during
fast while we sleep.
Right. So you're saying for that particular person, it's not necessary to do that.
They can get up and have breakfast.
Yeah. Okay.
They can get up and have like a bowl of oatmeal with some fresh fruit or something. You know, out of all of these, they're the ones that actually need nutrients on a regular basis, probably every 4 to 5 hours.
Okay.
Because they're burning it so fast. And their body just, it just needs it. Even if it's just like you're having a fresh peach, because that's what's in season. If they fast, their body actually crashes. Like, not that they're going to die. Don't hear that. But like, their metabolism actually gets slower.
Right. Yeah. Throughout this whole process, you know, we're looking for optimal health here, right?
Exactly.
And so what you're saying, for their optimal health, they don't have to do any kind of longer fast. They can not eat while they sleep, get up, go eat, and all that. Okay. That's good to know. Now, can I share with you what made me get into fasting was the whole, first, what I learned was that at night, you know, instead of my body spending time to digest my food, my body can actually work on the healing that it needs to do throughout the night. So that's one of the things that I wanted to benefit from fasting, just like give my body that space to heal and do what it's supposed to do. Second thing was there's human growth hormone, right? HGH, and it decreases as we age. But what I heard, what I read and studied was that it does increase when you fast. Is there anything that you could speak to about HGH or?
Not in a comfortable level.
Okay.
I have some basic knowledge. So while you're fasting, you're also putting your body into, I'm sure everyone is familiar with the term ketosis, right? Because the keto diet is all big right now. What most people don't realize is that the keto diet is actually for traumatic brain injuries and epilepsy. That's all that it's for. And it should be done with a dietitian and a nutritionist and a doctor. Because there are certain macros that you need to meet, and certain nutritional things that you need to meet. Because if you do it incorrectly, it can actually kill you. I actually, unfortunately, know a woman who went to Paris and she wanted to be a specific dress size so she could fit into this particular dress. And she did keto and it put off the electrolytes in her heart and she died.
Oh, wow.
She came back from Paris in that dress. She did meet her goal.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah.
So when people talk about doing that, I'm like, whoa, like do Whole30. That's great for you. Like do that.
Yeah.
But if you're going to do keto, get with the nutritionist and the dietitian and your doctor.
Yeah.
Because it's medical. But as for your human growth hormone and, you know, things that are happening. So for your body to digest, you need to be upright for at least 5 to 6 hours before you go to bed.
Okay. That's good to know.
So if you're eating dinner at 7 o'clock, unless you're going to 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, unless you're going to bed at midnight and you're staying up, when you lay down, digestion can't happen as easily. Just think about it. I mean, if I have stuff in my cup right here, right? This would go right through my cup nice and easy, right?
Right.
But if I put the stuff in the cup and then I put the cup like this, which way does gravity? Gravity goes this way. There's no hole there. The hole is here. Right. So that's why if you're gonna do like what you're doing, which is great, make sure you eat your big meal at lunch and then have a lighter meal at dinner. That's easier to digest, like pre-soaked beans or pre-soaked grains, stuff like that. The body can easily digest. It does not easily digest anything that is cold, like salad, and it does not, or smoothies. It doesn't digest easily any meats because they're heavy. It needs more work to do it.
Yes. And that's one of the things in the 11-11 detox, one of the practices, you know, is eat real and minimally processed foods because, you know, I'm not a nutritionist, I'm not a doctor. And I will tell you, I have done all kinds of different ways of eating. And if you want to be a vegan, there's all kinds of information that supports being a vegan. If you want to be a carnivore, there's all kinds of information that supports being a carnivore. So it's like, I really didn't feel comfortable telling people, you know, what to eat. But what I do feel comfortable telling people is to eat real food.
Yes,
and I
absolutely.
appreciate you sharing about the cold food. And the meat, it makes sense because meat is denser and heavier. That makes sense about the digestion. But the cold, I wouldn't have thought of that necessarily, but it does make sense also because it's cold. So it's your body's taking time to
to have to do
Break it
that.
down.
Here's some, what I thought were really unique and weird facts about digestion. Number one, the reason that you most of the time don't crave meat in the summertime and when it's hot out is because it raises your body temperature a full degree.
Okay.
Now, I thought that was just kind of interesting.
Yeah.
I never knew meat did that, but because your body has to work so hard at digesting it, it ups your body temperature.
Interesting.
And if you drink warm liquids rather than cold liquids, you will actually hydrate 30 times better.
Oh my gosh, Mary, this is something from my yoga study. You do not drink cold water in my teacher's class.
Ever. Like
No.
this, you're gonna laugh. This is room temperature dragon fruit iced tea.
Yeah.
It's not iced. See, there's zero ice in there.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. All right. So,
but that's why it won't hydrate your body if it's not body temperature or more. It cannot hydrate you.
Okay.
Your body has to work to get it up to temperature.
Oh, I love it. I love
Isn't that
it.
wild?
I love this.
Like that blew my mind. I don't care
Yeah.
what your body is, from itty bitty skinny to voluptuous. We need hydration, especially in this heat that's going across the country. We need to make sure we are properly hydrated. And the glutathione in the swish is fantastic for making sure that we get that red blood cells and the oxygen moving within the body. But if we're not properly hydrating the body, it's like moving sludge.
Okay. All right. And was there any other tips for digestion? I wanted to ask you something about the hydration. Were there any other tips that you
I
wanted
think
to share?
just when it comes to digestion, make sure you're upright. Make sure that you take a walk, if possible, for 15 minutes after you eat. And if you can, not everybody can do this, but even if you just lean to the, let's say you're at work and you've had your lunch, even if you just lean to the left just a little bit for about 15, 20 minutes afterward, you're going to help your food digest faster. So if you can lay on your left, that's great. But if you don't have the option to recline, like very few of us do, you're going to want to just try to, maybe lean a little more on that left arm as you're working, because the drainage is on the left side.
That is so interesting. I love it. Okay. The other thing about the hydration, it's recommended, I've read, right? It's recommended that we drink half our body weight in ounces. Is that what you would typically also recommend?
I think it depends on the person. I think, that's such a blanket statement. So,
it is, right.
Like my husband thought it'd be great. He was going to drink a gallon of water a day, right? Well, he also takes medicine for depression. What he was doing was flooding his system and not allowing the medicine to actually take effect. So it had the opposite effect.
Interesting. Okay.
So if you overhydrate and you're on medicine for, SSRIs or let's say even diabetes, you're going to flush it out too fast. So my rule of thumb is 8 ounces an hour, regardless of what you're on, which really isn't that much.
Right. Okay.
From the time you wake up to the time you go to bed, it's really not that much. It gives your body time to hydrate and to absorb it. And it's not a rush all at once. And also, like I have an autoimmune disorder called Sjogren's. So I'm basically a human dehydrator. Every cell in my body, everything that creates mucus in my body dehydrates. Okay. So I have to drink more than that because my body is constantly in a state of dehydration. Okay. So I think, those are things that you would want to consult with your medical professional if you have any known conditions, just to make sure that you are properly hydrating for your body. Yeah.
Thank you for addressing that.
You're welcome.
A lot of these things that we're learning are, blankets, to try to cover as many people as possible. And one of the things that my functional medicine doctor and a few of my friends that are in health oriented fields, it's so individualistic. You really need to get a relationship with a practitioner that is going to know your body, know your lifestyle. And, if you can do that, if you can't do that, it's good to learn, like I learned through reading different books and everything, but to really hone in on, if you do, like you said, if you have some kind of issue, having that practitioner that you can really lean on so that you're getting exactly what you need to support your body. So,
like, I know, like a lot of times people, like you said, it's blanket statements. I have my older daughter who's now 24. When she was 16, she was anorexic. So she would have signed up for something like this and been like, oh, I need to fast for 24 hours, you know, and because you're not doing interviews with people, you don't know what it is that where their mental or emotional or physical self is. It's like, yikes. Like, yeah, that's great for the general public.
Right.
But I don't know about you. I'm not a general public. I have 5 autoimmune disorders. Like, yikes. And that's something I'm really glad you brought that up, because they're blankets, but you have to realize where you yourself and be in tune with yourself. If it doesn't feel right for you, like, don't do it. Listen to your body.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I appreciate that too, because, you know, I am very passionate about optimal health and all of that. And I think all the practices in our protocol are common sense practices, really.
They really are. Yeah.
I think, you know, we, you know, can overcomplicate things, but when we do have an issue that is complicated, it should be addressed by somebody that is maybe even specializes in that, so that, you know, we can be supported in that way. I so appreciate your knowledge. I really do. And this has been a wonderful conversation. Anything to add before we wrap up?
I'm going to say, just if you can, know where your food comes from. That's super important. You know, it used to be for going to farmer's market was less expensive. It's not any longer, because the small guy doesn't get the same discount on the large amounts. But whenever possible, do that. And sticking to a whole food diet, if you're like really confused for recipes, man, hit Pinterest and hit Whole30.
Oh, I know, right? Pinterest is my best friend there.
Mine too, man. I have all these things on there that I would never do, ever. But it looks great. Yeah, just try to eat whole. Try to remember, you know, 8 ounces of water. Whether if you have lemon in it, it'll actually help you digest it better and help break things down in your body, or lime, whichever is best for you. And add some Himalayan sea salt, believe it or not, because you need to make sure there's electrolytes in there. You can hydrate too much and throw off your electrolytes. So just throw in like a little bit of Himalayan sea salt. You'll be perfect.
That's wonderful.
Just try to stay as natural as possible. And believe it or not, it matters, because you were joking, said I was in like my mid-30s. I'm 50. And I live like this every single day.
Yeah.
Like when Nicole's like, join us, I'm like, honey, this is how I live. She's like, oh. I'm like, yeah.
And I love that. And I appreciate you, you know, being an example for that kind of healthy living. I when I met you, I thought, oh, she's in her 30s, and then you shared that you're 50, and I was mind blown. And well, I really appreciate you. I appreciate your knowledge, and thank you for sharing with me and our community.
You're welcome.
All right. Thank you, Mary.
Hit me up anytime. You know where to find me.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.